Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. We are 4 business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts, sharing the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. I'm Clare Whalley. We also have
Darren Langley,
Kate Curry.
Pete Morgan.
Beautifully done. So today we are talking about how to keep developing your business skills.
Right.
I mean, this is massively important, isn't it? And I'm going to start off by sharing how I used to think about developing my business skills in the beginning. I used to think, I'm not reading any business books because I know it all. And I think back to that now, and honestly, I could punch myself in the face for that. So I'm like, what? Well, I don't even know the words, like pretentious. I just know it all. Why on earth did I think?
It was an arrogance of...
Yeah, it was total arrogance.
You just didn't know what you didn't know.
I was in my early 30s and I just got this real arrogance that I think it wasn't arrogance. It was also a bit of, I should know it all. So, I can't claim to be, I've just read this book and learned all this. But yeah, that was my starting point of developing my business skills. I've got nothing to develop. I'm awesome. Thank you.
I was the exact polar opposite to that.
Yeah, I was
stumbling into this business thing I haven't got a clue what I'm doing.
I think there must be a pattern there with me because just before I left the house, I was just saying to Rob, well, he said he thinks I've got the opposite of imposter syndrome. He was telling me about a parent at the school that has ripped his arm muscle and he can't work now for 9 months because he was at his kid's party and thought, I'll do the monkey bars. And I said I was the same at Isabel's football match. It was parents v kids. I fell on my backside and I got elbowed really badly in the face because I thought, well, I'm really good at football. I wasn't. I can run, but anything else. So, yeah, I've got the opposite to imposter syndrome.
But
Pete, what's your stance on, where was you at the beginning? Business when
I think we've talked about the time when I went to that networking event and somebody said people buy from people and they were, an experienced business owner. And I was like, well, absolute nonsense. I'm good at what I do. So people will come and buy from me and that's it.
So you were a little bit arrogant.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no... It was not something I'd ever come across. Again, this was another aspect of being a business owner that I'd never even considered that, you need to keep improving, that you need to keep learning. It never even crossed my mind. Never even, been a thing. I was quite happy to sit in my nice big sty of ignorance and just crack on. That was the thing.
Sty big.
Yes. Yeah.
Ken, there's a brilliant image in there.
There is.
Little pile of straw, Pete.
I wasn't thinking straw. Was you an arrogant so at the beginning of your business?
I don't think so. I think I just didn't really even consider that I'd have to learn how to run a business.
You were ignorant.
Ignorant.
I think we all come into one of those two, don't we? We're either arrogant or ignorant.
Yeah, I think
really.
Yeah.
Ignorant,
yeah. So it came as a surprise when I had to learn how to run a business. But, we got there. We get it there one day.
We got there.
Oh, so arrogant.
Oh,
I'll be arrogant one day.
I'm looking forward to my arrogance phase.
But
so what do you wish that you had done differently at the beginning when you started, Kate?
I don't know. That's a weird question, isn't it? Because I feel like things just happen at the right time. And I'm a big believer that, well, not a big believer, it's the truth. You don't know what you don't know. So I went into my business and I didn't know I just didn't know anything. I didn't know something. I didn't know about running a business.
Yeah.
Some of the information, the learnings I had were like accidental, and some things I started to realise I had to go searching for it and understand, the answers. But people would be like, so what's in your pipeline? I'd be like, the what now? Like, what CRM system are you using? Like, hey?
What?
And like, have you been networking? What? And then like, how have you got your 60-second pitch and what's your hook? I'm just like, oh my God, like mind blown. And you have to sort of learn these things a bit at a time. It's like a journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I could go back in time, I'd like to sort of speed the process up a bit. Like try and steer myself in the right direction a bit more quickly, perhaps stop myself chasing off down random rabbit holes a little bit. But I think, I don't know if I would change anything. I feel like I've learned the right information in the right way. And the biggest thing is understand that you don't know it all and nobody does. So like nobody can stand there and say that they know everything there is about business. Well, maybe they do, but I don't believe
I
they
do. Have you not just heard me?
But there's always something that you can learn or something new that you can pick up. And the world is changing at a really fast rate. And so now we've always got to like relearn things again. We've got AI coming in. We've got to learn new skills and how to like implement it and how to build our businesses using it. So we're not like behind the curve and that kind of thing. So it just never ends. It's like a never ending journey.
And I think I think because Darren and Kate, our three businesses are very digitally rooted, in a lot of ways. There's a lot of technology in what we do. That's the other aspect, like you say, with the AI thing, but not just the AI of, what is the new way of doing this job?
Yeah.
What is the new piece of equipment? And it's constantly just when you think, all right, okay, I think I've got this now. And then somebody brings out something and you're like, right, okay, let me just, I need to learn how this works and how it affects all the other things that I've been using.
It's like whack-a-mole, isn't it? You get one bit of information on it and then another bit pops up somewhere else. And you never know where, like...
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, is it? We just do the best we can with the information we have around us at the time.
Right now, yeah.
And just collect all the subscriptions as you go along and pay for this one for 6 months, pay for that one.
Yeah.
Gather it all up and then go and sit in your sty.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's going to come back, isn't it? That's, and that wasn't a one-time thing.
I love what Alan, the accountant, said this morning at the meeting we were at. 42 years in business, and he's still every day is a school day. And it is so true. I think I do learn something new every day in my business. And I think I wouldn't have realised that that's what I was going to do, 17, however many years into our business now. But that's what I thrive on. I thrive on learning new stuff all the time. It feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
Keep adding.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does, yeah.
What worries me a bit, because I feel like I'm a bit Homer Simpson, and when I learn new stuff, does it push something old out of my brain? And can I control what that is?
You are reaching a certain age now, so yeah.
Yeah, the hard drive's getting a bit full.
It is.
Yeah. I think that there is a bit of a fear factor there, though, because sometimes, you hear of something, that's the way to go now. That's how we do business now, or that's how we do, everyone's using this thing now. It's like, well, I'm not at the loop. Is it like a FOMO thing or something like that? And then you kind of race to catch up, and then by the time you're there, there's something else come along. So it can be a bit scary and daunting to have every day as a school day. Sometimes you just want the summer holidays to come along like you used to in the old days.
Put your pencil case down.
Yeah, I don't want to learn anything for the next 6 weeks.
Just stay in and watch Why Don't You?
Yay! But I think that is one of the big challenges around at the moment, is there's always something new coming in, and it's very easy to get a bit of FOMO or to get a bit distracted and think, I should be on Instagram doing reels, or I should be learning AI. But so what do you do to kind of combat those challenges of, I should be doing that, or I need to be learning this?
For me, there's two or three people that I really, really respect.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I say two or three. So it's all three of you. But there's two or three people that I listen to what they say, because if you try and take on every bit of kind of business development or personal development as a business owner that you come across, you'd have no time to do anything.
Yeah.
So I kind of very early on, kind of thought, right, I really like them. I like the way they deliver things. Do they have the best advice? Possibly not. The next guy would say that they had the best advice. So, but that's who I like. That's the way, and I just kind of keep up with what they're saying and kind of work towards that.
This episode is sponsored by the best-selling book, Marketing for Introverts. Being an introvert and a business owner means navigating the ongoing challenge between needing to promote your business but not wanting to put yourself out there. If you want to run a successful business but the idea of showing your face on your marketing terrifies you, this is the book you need. Written by marketing consultant and introvert Jenny Proctor, the book takes you through 5 straightforward steps to understand your introvert superpowers and use them at the heart of your marketing. By the end, you will confidently and successfully be able to promote your business in a way that fits with your strengths and values. Don't use introversion as an excuse. Buy the book that Freelance Magazine described as close to a perfect blueprint for marketing with integrity as you will find. Head to Amazon and search Marketing for Introverts.
That's a good strategy to have those kind of mentors, because as you're saying that, it just reminded me of like my social media feeds. When you're going through that, a lot of them are adverts for things like, business owners are doing it wrong and do this and increase your business by 10x and all this kind of stuff. You're getting bombarded with these messages, and sometimes you're like, oh, let's find out what that is. And it's like, oh, no, I've just signed up to another email newsletter that I don't want. To find out that the thing they're telling us to do is something that's either blindingly obvious or you've been doing for years anyway.
Yeah.
Or, it's unachievable or it's nonsense. So, there is a bit of a kind of, you can be bombarded with so much information about, oh, you should do this or you should change quick change. You've got to do it that way now. So sometimes you do have to kind of sit back and go, look, no, this is the way it's done. We can adapt, but we can't just kind of, suddenly change everything that we're doing and the way we're doing it just because someone on social media said to do it that way.
Yeah. You need to apply your filter, don't you? To only let the things through that are actually going to benefit you and keep you on track with where you want to go next.
Yeah. I tend to kind of work off a rule of 3. So if I hear 3 times within a week from people I respect talking about something, then I'm like, oh, I need to have a look at that. So, for example, this week I've heard 3 people who I respect talking about Stephen Bartlett's podcast, Diaries of a CEO, and I'm like,
oh, you're like the third person to mention that to you this week.
That's what I do. I'm like, that's been mentioned several times this week, so I need to have a listen to it. And I try to apply those rules with things rather than go, oh, that sounds pretty and that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Funny.
So in our last episode, when all 3 of us are talking about ball juggling, do you think like we've got one of this? I've only come to 3 different people. I've got to learn to juggle.
It has to be 3 separate occasions.
Okay.
So, Pete, what are you being challenged with right now?
I mean, within the industry of what I do, everything's changing, and talked about AI, and that's having an impact as well on audio production. The thing that people aren't really talking about is the fact that none of it's free, and there's a cost involved. But I'm still trying to learn about the new practices, and is it worthwhile bringing that on board, as a production technique of using AI.
What criteria do you use to kind of check it?
I think sometimes it is just purely cost of so everyone has a trial, you have a 7-day or 30-day trial. And you kind of do that, and then on day 5, because I don't leave it till day 6 because I'll just forget.
Yes.
Or on day 5, I'll think, right, is this worth this amount? Am I going to use it that often? Is it doing as good a job as it claims to do? And if it's not, then, but sometimes it is what benefit will it bring to my clients? And if it's going to bring a fantastic amount of benefit, then yeah, let's sign up for it and do. There's a web app that I work with about kind of getting onto YouTube and helping. So I've absolutely signed on to that, because everyone should have their podcast on YouTube. But from a business owner's point of view, it's kind of the myriad of information. Like Darren says, your social media feeds. There's so many things you could get. Then there's times you're watching something thinking, well, this is quite interesting, and then you realise it's an ad rather than a genuine piece of value.
Yeah.
So it's just knowing when to stop.
This is why I'm on my 5th CRM system now. Someone else has been sucked into that whole, this will revolutionise your business. And then he's...
Yeah.
And then you're like, and it'll be $3,000 to train you how to use the bloody thing. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
I know.
And it's like, there's so much information like in each app, and everything's like, ever so slightly different, but all the same kind of thing. I'm like, do you know what? The best thing to do is just keep it simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep it really simple and just focus on what are the objectives that I need this to achieve for me. And is it going to do it? Or is it just going to be a massive time sap, a big distraction? I'm going to spend all this time learning something that's the benefits are like really negligible, really.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, when you mentioned CRM systems, have you considered using Trello?
To be fair, that's the one. That is the one I've settled on because it's really simple. And I've tried all these other ones, and it's just like so complicated.
CRM though, is it?
This podcast is brought to you by...
No,
They
but
have
you
a
can
plugin.
use it.
They have
yes.
a plugin that
You can use it as a CRM, yes.
Yeah.
To be
Actually,
fair,
that
it's
isn't
been,
very good, though. I've tried that one.
it's
Oh, no, I just dissed Trello.
I know. I was going to say, it's been a while since we've had a Darren Trello ad.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have learned that I love learning.
Yeah.
And continuous learning is one of my top values. So anytime I can squeeze in a bit of learning, well, this is why I run, Metaphor Mastermind, so I can have somebody coming in every month who's always going to be teaching us something new or to thinking a little bit differently. So what have you guys learned about yourself through, developing your business skills?
It doesn't go in naturally, because it's I really have to focus on it and put time aside to kind of learn about myself as a business owner and learn about developing my role and developing the business and take on that education. It doesn't happen naturally. I need to focus and work at it.
So what do you do in order to kind of, once you've heard something that you're like, oh yeah, that's interesting, what do you do in order to kind of move it from that to implementing or taking action?
I'll study that thing a bit more. If it comes from a book, I'll try and get the book, or at the very least see it on Blinkist, or kind of do that kind of aspect of it. And then again, if it's implementing something within the business, if it's implement it for a short amount of time, does it work? Does it have the effect that this magic touch that I think it's going to have? But I'm like you, I like learning, but if it's at times I find it difficult, as I say.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be quite disheartening, kind of, because you when you say you take up a try, you think, this is going to be the thing that's going to revolutionise this aspect of my business and change this bit, make this bit easier. And then they don't, and they let you down, and then it's kind of quite disheartening sometimes. When do you get that thing that's like, actually, this is actually quite a bit of a game changer, then I think it's quite exhilarating. You get kind of a bit of a buzz from that. So, yeah, that's when it's learning how to use that, how to implement that in whatever it is, whether it's a process or a tool into your business, is quite exciting.
Yeah, I think you have to separate the wheat from the chaff, don't you?
That's it.
I always think if someone is talking about it revolutionising your business, they would be alarm bells to me, because not one thing is going to have this in
Absolutely, that's a big.
It's little bits here and there, aren't they?
That's definitely a biggie. There is no silver bullet for
No.
anything.
Yeah. Or sometimes they'll do this. The other thing you'll see is they'll say this will, change your business. You think, actually, that's a relatively, looks like a simple process. Let me just have a bit of a click through and see what it is. £5,000.
Nice, yeah.
I love the ones like how I built my $2 million agency in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Click here. If you've got a $2 million agency, you're not really pimping out.
You don't need to be on Instagram.
Yeah. So, it's great.
Kate, what about for you? What have you learned about yourself through kind of learning all this new stuff, developing your business skills?
So I love learning, and I love the unexpected learnings probably more than anything else.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned about myself and my team is that we just need to allow time for that and build it into our sort of the way that we operate. So every Friday afternoon, everyone has time for personal development, and we either do, I don't know, a bit of research or read something or do a webinar or an online course or something like that. And then we share our learnings with each other, which is really lovely. But then we also try and get out of the office together. So we went to Birmingham Design Festival recently, which I haven't stopped banging on about this for ever since, but it was just brilliant. And the things that we learned from the speakers there were like unexpected things, stuff that we brought back about like how to use software differently or how to process ideas better or other things that we can implement. And it's been really inspiring. And we didn't actually go out looking for those individual answers.
Yeah.
We just moved somewhere where there was lots of information. We could just absorb like the juicy bits and take them back and implement them. And that was really exciting.
It's very exciting because you get so much more than you kind of bargained for with it, didn't you? What did you go out to that conference or event to do? What was your initial kind of, just to kind of get out of the office, just meet some new people?
Yeah, going around the office, a bit of team building, go and sort of mix with our own kind for a while. But it was, the value we got from it was really brilliant, and it's revolutionised the business.
Brilliant.
But I mean, to live found out, I bet it has, hasn't it? Like, since she went out, everyone's come back really fresh.
It really will have changed the culture, absolutely.
It has actually made some quite big changes.
But I bet they didn't come out, the who ran that 2 days, they wasn't saying, come along to this event, it'll revolutionise your business.
No way, no.
I just went off with that.
No, it was brilliant. So, and I've done lots of other things like business growth courses and things like that. Not necessarily signed up for any one particular skill or anything like that, but just I'm here and I'm open to like absorbing bits of information that's going to really help me. And I think it's just being open-minded about it, isn't it? And just like wherever you go in your life, you're going to be always learning, and it's just finding those little nuggets, isn't it? Learning to spot the golden nuggets and bring them, and then action on them as well.
Yeah, taking action. Yeah. For me, I love the fact that now I have such a big network of really great people who I just know, well, if I don't have the answer to it or I don't know where to get that skill from, I can reach out to anybody in my network and go, I know you can help me with this. Where do I go? Or is it you? So I love the fact that, as my business has developed, I've got all these great people at my fingertips.
I think I totally agree with that. Because I don't read, books really because I don't have time. I do listen to podcasts as long as they're funny and that kind of thing. But I totally agree that like when you go networking, you get away from your desk, you get out, you meet people. That's where somebody will say something, and it's a little bit like you said about hearing something 3 times or something. So somebody just says something and it doesn't even trigger at first, or whatever. Or it does. It's like, oh, hang on, no to that. Let's set that up. So you never know what you're going to learn just by networking, and as well as things like mastermind and all that kind of stuff. To have speakers and events.
Keep yourself fresh.
You just got to get out sometimes. Yeah, don't rely on social media to give you the answers or sitting at your desk googling it. It's getting out and meeting people, building your network.
Completely agree. Pete, what's your final thoughts on, developing your skills, and what are the kind of silver linings that have come out for you to, keep your finger on the pulse?
It's kind of when you do, so I tend to do like a 6-month review. I mean, it's just me. So I'm just looking at me and looking at, but it's nice to, so I know that's the arrogance.
Get out your style.
I know. It's just seeing the progression and the improvement. So maybe not kind of this massive growth in business, but the improvement in the business as an entity and a series of processes, and me as a business owner, and how it runs much more smoothly and much more efficiently than it did 6 months ago and the 6 months before that. So that's the silver, that's the thing I like doing, is just kind of seeing what the result is. Because sometimes when you do that little thing, when you change that, you don't notice the change, or you don't notice the difference. And it's only when you pull back a little bit and think, oh my God, goodness, I was spending so long doing this.
And now,
I
think that's the bit of a myth, though, isn't it, about business, that, you can do something and it just all of a sudden explodes, and all of a sudden you're making loads of money, and, you're sitting on your beach and all this kind of stuff. But change takes time, doesn't it? And it's little bits here and there that all of a sudden in 6 months' time, you're like, oh my God, it looks completely differently, but it's taken quite a bit of time to get there. Mm-hmm. Fabulous, guys. Thank you for brilliant input about how to keep developing your business skills. For our lovely listeners, please share, subscribe and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy, be inspired, and always keep focused on the fun side of business too.
You're all at it.
Bonus one.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.